Scrub-a-dub-dub, what's in the tub? What's going on, my subscribers? Ace here, and today we are back with some more Pokemon tips for the League format. Now, I am not alone. As always, we are joined by Vsing HB, my partner in crime.
Partridge.
Your partridge in crime?
Partridge. Just like that word. Partridge.
Alright.
It's also a bird.
Yeah, it is. Alright, but with this series, we felt that with the League format becoming more popular, that we wanted to kind of give tips since we have a good amount of experience both watching and playing in the League format, and we have a good understanding of what makes teams good and what makes the best teams the best. So in the last two episodes, we talked about Volt Turn and we talked about Cores. Now, if you guys want to watch those, make sure to go back. We may reference some of the things from there, so it's a little bit easier if you go back to those and watch those so that you can relate to what we're talking about now.
Plus, there'll be a playlist. You can click on that and watch it all in one. Then you can build the best draft ever.
Yeah, and at the bottom of my channel, I have a specific line for playlists, so you guys can find that easily faster than if you don't want to click playlist. You can just find it by looking at the pretty icons and thumbnails that I've made. But yeah, so today we are talking about hazard control. Now, whether it is setting up hazards or getting rid of hazards, both are equally important on a team. Now, which would you like to start with, Hubba? Would you like to start up with hazard?
Well, we need to set them up before we can get rid of them.
Okay, so we need to set them up?
Yeah, we need to set some up.
Alright, so let's see. A couple mons here that get hazards that are pretty good. There's Excelgor here.
Guess we're starting with mons that get spikes.
Are we starting with mons that get spikes?
Well, you clicked Excelgor.
I just immediately when I thought hazards, I thought Excelgor, because he's just a monstrous mon in let's go like this. All right.
There's four, I believe, 4 types of hazards. There's spikes, toxic spikes, obviously stealth rocks, and sticky webs.
Mm-hmm.
Is there, unless there's something I'm missing, like I don't know, like hot lava. I don't know.
Stealth rocks.
Yeah, I said stealth rock.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're looking for spikes users?
Yeah.
Are you struggling right now?
No, I wanted to just type in spikes. All right, there we go. All right, spikes. It's just easier to do it this way, to be honest. I can think of these mons off the top of my head just faster. Deoxys, you're not going to see in League format. Oh, Frostlass.
True.
Hate that mon.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I love Frostlass. I just don't like it as an offensive presence.
But these are some mons that get spikes. I don't know. Ace is probably better knowing this, but how much do spikes do? 1 layer of spikes.
It's dependent upon health, but I think it's 12% each time.
Are you sure?
I'm not 100% sure. Let's look it up.
That's stealth rocks.
Spikes, Pokemon. Let's look it up. No better way to... Okay. So 1 layer of spikes will damage the opponent by 1/8. Or 12... Yeah, so I was right. 12.5%.
Oh, it's so? Okay.
2 layers is 16%. And then 3 layers is 25%. So you can see how good that is. Just by that, having the ability to just set up spikes against your opponent can if you can take 25% off every mon that comes in, you can end up sweeping with an end game sweeper in the end of the game, just setting up that way.
Question then for the viewers might be asking: spikes, does type effectiveness affect spikes? If you resist ground typing moves, do you take less damage?
I don't
believe. Or if you're weak against it.
I don't believe so. The only thing that works against spikes, I believe, is levitate and flying mons. So spikes works across the board, unless you're talking about toxic spikes specifically, which poison types can absorb those. No, only flying mons and levitate mons are immune to the ability of spikes. It will be 12%, 16%, and then 25% across the board, depending upon how many layers of spikes you put up.
Regardless of your typing and if you resist ground type moves or not. They will do a guaranteed set amount. Yeah, it's unless you're levitating or flying.
It's not like stealth rocks where resisted and super effective comes into play.
But these are some examples of mons that get spikes. The Excelgor is a really popular one because it's so fast. It's pretty much guaranteed to get up at least 1 layer. If you pack a sash on it, you can get up 2 layers. But typically, spike setters, they're either really fast or really fat. so you can get multiple layers up before you die. They usually have recovery too, like Skarmy there is a good example, so it can set a layer up, roost up, set another layer up, roost up, and just keep going. Typically in a league format, unless you get like the obvious chance to set up multiple layers, you only typically need to set up one layer, just so you can, like, the main reason, well, not the main reason, but one of the biggest reasons for setting up hazards is to break focus sashes.
Yep.
So one layer of spikes is handily enough to do that. It's also to break sturdy, like Pokemon that have sturdy as an ability.
Just like Fortress.
Yeah, but in episode 1 we discussed Volt Turn. A good way to combat that is hazard stacking. If you have multiple layers of spikes and stealth rocks up and they constantly volt switch and U-turn on you, they're coming in every time, taking like potentially up to like 50% damage every time, depending on what the mon is.
Yeah, and competitively 6v6 wise, the metagame right now is extremely switch heavy. It's not like earlier gens where you can kind of stay in with certain mons and be okay. Like in this metagame, there's so many typing and like different situations that people have learned to do. I would say that's even more so in league format because you have such a limited amount of mons that you can get that you're going to have like particular matchups, and swapping into those matchups is extremely important. So getting up 12% against your opponent every time that mon switches in, or 16%, 25%, it really puts the pressure on your opponent to have to figure something out and have to have good hazard control. Otherwise, they're getting absolutely obliterated.
Yeah. It's on the CCL channel, but my first battle with Super Slayer 649, the Saffron Shavens, is a good example of hazard stacking. I believe I got up every form of hazard possible minus sticky webs. I had 3 layers of spikes, rocks, and 2 layers of toxic spikes. And it, like, I didn't win, but like my hazards alone destroyed his team.
Yeah.
Like it did. Like I just sat there and let him keep swapping, and like every single time we'd come in and take like 30% damage to all his Pokemon. Like, there's no way to truly combat it unless you come in with a defog or a spinner that's fast and can get off the spin or defog. Spikes is good. It's there just to get, it's consistent damage. That's why some people prefer it over Stealth Rocks, because there might be a team that like completely resists rocks, so it's pointless. Whereas spikes, it's consistent set damage no matter what, unless obviously a flying type or a levitator. But stealth rocks, there's a couple mons here: Fortress, Skarmory, Crustle, Ferroform. They all get stealth rocks, right?
Yep. Just kind of move these out.
Stealth rocks, they're a one-time thing. They're not like you can layer them and they'll do more damage. Stealth rocks, I believe, do 12.5% if you're neutral to rock typing.
I think it's that way.
Yeah, they do 25% if you're weak to rock typing. They do 50%. Yeah, they do 50% if you're quad weak, like your Charizard or Talonflame. You resist. You're weak to rock like a million ways. They do 6% if you resist rock, and like 2 or 3% if you quad resist rock.
I think it's dependent upon HP for that, because like I'm pretty sure like if you look at the Mon's HP here, if it's an even number, I think it does like 2% to like 3%.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, like on that, depending on resistance.
Well, like an example is Excadrill will come in and take nothing from rocks because it quad resists it. But it's still breaking the sash if I had one, so it's still useful. Yeah,
extremely useful there. And with Stealth Rocks, with flying being like a really offensive typing and a really versatile typing, Pokemon like Talonflame, Charizard, things that are really big sweepers in the endgame metagame, Mega Scizor, like if it's already Mega Devolved up and you run out your Intimidator and it has to swap out, you set the Stealth Rock, so the next time it comes in it's taking 25%, Charizard's taking 50%, Talonflame's taking 50%, like you're in a really great position there. Just because like you put up this hazard that really limits down their team.
Yeah, some of the bigger offensive presences, typing wise, like Ace said, flying is a big one. Like flying is such a good typing offensively, but Stealth Rocks really hinders it, and that's why it's really important to you have, I would say, like at least one Stealth Rocker on a draft. But it's honestly you're better off having multiple stealth rockers, potential stealth rockers on a draft, because if you only have one, your opponent will look at your draft and say, okay, that brings hazards, and that's the only thing he has for hazards, so I can prepare for that, because it's pretty much guaranteed he'll bring it. And it's the same for, we'll get to it, but hazard controllers like spinners and defoggers, if you only have one, they'll prepare for it. But yeah, Miltank, Chansey, like just these fat mons that takes hits and gets up rocks for free. They're really useful. They're there to break slashes. It's their sashes. Yeah, focus sashes. I'm tired, man. It's 6 a.m. But yeah, there to break sashes, there to whittle down Volt Turn, and just swapping in general. Like Ace said earlier, there's a lot of swapping in just the meta game in general, and even more so in League format.
Mm-hmm. And with every mon, similar to like what we were talking about with Volt Switch and U-Turn, there are a lot of mons that get Stealth Rock and Spikes. There's a lot of diversity mons, so your opponent may not expect it. Like specifically with Spikes, I know Diggersby gets Spikes, so that's kind of like a weird thing that you could do. Different things, like you guys see me like kind of scrolling through, picking out different mons, because you can see the different speed tiers of these mons. All of these mons are very diverse, and there isn't like specific mons that you just need to grab. Just like having that coverage and understanding that Stealth Rocks Spikes are really good setting up wise.
Yeah, and sometimes it's good to run rocks on something unexpected. I believe you can check this now. Nidoking gets rocks?
It does, actually.
Yeah, like that's a good mon to have rocks on, because you can bring in a Nidoking on a Pokemon, and because Nidoking gets so many moves, you're likely to scare out something. So rather than click the move, say like you're in on a Lando and he's scared you're going to Ice Beam, rather than click Ice Beam, you can get rocks up for free. And when we say for free is like you're not going to get hit that turn.
Yeah. Well, because unless your opponent's unless it's a really awkward situation, like they're a Scarf or whatever, but like you'd assess that by that point if you're going to make that kind of read, really. But like setting up the rocks there in like that position, like your opponent's like, oh crap, I'm really scared. I can think of this particularly. I battled Slayer in the championship, and in the situation where I had a Diancie out against a Milk Tank, I knew that he had Iron Head, and I was a little bit afraid of that because I figured, okay, he could Stealth Rock, but I'm a Magic Bouncer, so I don't think that like really here he'd probably just go for the Iron Head. I swapped out there, and he was able to make that read and get up the Stealth Rocks on my swap out. And that put him in a really good position.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Stealth Rocks are very important. I, and I'm sure Ace would highly recommend you pick up mons multiple mons that have access to Stealth Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Not just just hazards in general. One of the other forms of hazards that we've yet to discuss, I believe Nidoking got it, so you could have left it.
Oh, we'll just add it in a second.
Toxic Spikes. Toxic Spikes is similar to Spikes, like regular Spikes, in the sense that you can potentially get out multiple layers, although the max you can go with Toxic Spikes is 2 layers.
I believe so.
And yeah, it is.
Okay.
The difference between 1 and 2 layers is if you only get 1 layer up, a Pokemon comes in, lands on the spikes, and gets poisoned. And that is normal poison damage, as if you got poisoned going through Viridian Forest by a Weedle. If you manage to get 2 layers up, the Pokemon coming in on the Toxic Spikes would get toxicked, I guess, rather than poisoned. As in, they've had the move Toxic inflicted on them, and the poison damage racks up every turn. I believe it doubles every turn until it gets to a certain point. Yeah. So, ideally, obviously, you'd want to get 2 ups just because it has that even more residual damage over time. And this is a good tactic, particularly to work against drafts that are bulky. Yeah. If you're gonna battle someone that has like a Sableye, Chansey, Skarmory core, obviously it's not going to affect the Skarmory, but you'll whittle down the Sableye and the Chansey a hell of a lot.
Mm-hmm. And same thing as with Spikes, Levitate Mons and Flying Mons are not affected by the poison typing. And poison type Mons can absorb them if they touch the ground. So Pokemon like Gengar, Wheezing here, they don't touch the ground, so they won't be able to absorb those toxic spikes for you. But with that, like with that risk reward, that's probably why they did the badly poisoned and just regular poison if you get the 2 up. you're in a better position. So if you notice your opponent has like a bulky core that doesn't have a poison type to absorb those, you're in a really good position there.
Yeah. Some mons that get it, like Roserade, Nidoking, they're relatively fast. It's like the Acelgar thing, like they're fast, so they'll get it up at least one layer. Beedrill gets Toxic Spikes? That's nice to know. But yeah, other than that, you got your Quillfish, Weezing, Tentacruel, your bulky fat mons that will take hits and just like laugh at you and be like, I'm gonna set these up, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. And like you said with Beedrill, like I thought that was interesting as well, like kind of just like we said, there's a lot of diversity in mons that get it. So like you're just like, oh wait, I'm bringing out Mega Beedrill. Well, nothing wants to take a U-turn, so I'll just set up these Toxic Spikes while you're swapping out, and we're good to go.
That's actually quite a nice one to get Toxic Spikes because it's so fast.
Like, boy, 145 speed? What the hell? Wait. All right, but moving from that, when you have all these hazards on the field, it can be really like good for you or bad for you if you're on the opposite side, and to be on the receiving end really sucks. So you're gonna have to for specific things be able to get rid of these hazards. So we can go through some of the mons that you might want to pick up regarding different techniques. So certain mons get like moves that allow them to get rid of these hazards in Defog and Rapid Spin. Now we'll go through some of these. Do you want to go Rapid Spin or Defog? Like first.
I'm just kind of sitting here thinking. I think Ace forgot about Sticky Webs.
Oh, true. I did actually. I'm not gonna lie, I did. Oops. See, I'm a forgetful person. I'm sorry. I just forget stuff sometimes. So we're just gonna go with the standard Galvantula.
Oh yeah, like Sticky. Okay, we're back on more hazards. By the way,
back on hazards.
We'll come back to defoggers and spinners because Ace is kind of forgetful sometimes.
Sorry. It happens.
You want some mons? Cricketune, Masquerain, Leavanny, Shuckle.
I forgot about Shuckle.
Ariados.
And screw Shuckle.
But Sticky Webs, okay, this is not a hazard that does damage to you or causes a status. This is a hazard which slows your Pokemon down as they come in on it. I believe it minuses 1.5 speed.
Yeah, it's basically like a reverse Twist Scarf.
Yeah. Again, Pokemon that are immune are Levitators and Flying Mons. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't think anybody else has alternate abilities, like maybe Contrary, I guess, is the only other thing I can think of.
Oh yeah, obviously, like that's a very specific situation. As Contrary.
Oh, it's only by 1. It's not by 1.5. By 1 stage.
Okay, so yeah, you lose 1 stage of speed, which I think is 1.5.
Oh, is it? Is that how it works? Oh, okay. Either way.
I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, 1 stage, so minus 1 speed. Yeah, and these are really nice if you're battling someone with a super speedy draft. Like if someone has... I'm trying to think of super speedies mons and I'm struggling.
Mienshao, Nidoking, Darmanitan.
You can tell this man plays Yu-Yu.
Yeah, these are like mons. Like I specifically, if I see these mons, I'm like, okay, this team's weak to Sticky Web. It's really good to get up the webs here. Let's see. Garchomp, if it's offensive, it's really good to get it off against. If you're like even especially since like we talked about Volturn and like a lot of the Pokemon that get like U-turn are in that middle tier of like speed. So like allowing one of your middle tier mons that's like a sweeper or something like that to outspeed everything. Like if you get a Sizzler, but like with Sticky Webs and like even like Stealth Rocks or anything like that behind that, and it outspeeds everything, like you're blowing back your opponent's entire team.
Yeah. Sticky Webs, in my opinion, is one of the best forms of hazards just because it is so good. Like you could have a lot of the problems with mons that hit incredibly hard is that their speed doesn't allow them to get like big hits off, I guess. Try to think of an example, like Machamp,
Mega Heracross,
stuff like that. Like they hit incredibly hard, but they're not that fast. But if you put them on a team with Sticky Webs, you can take advantage of that. And they're so important that all 6 mons, well, maybe not Shuckle, but the other 5 mons you see there usually pack a Focus Sash. just
Yeah.
so you can get a guaranteed layer of sticky webs up, and then you let it die. Like, I'd say 4 of those mons, like Masquerain, Kricketune, Ariados, Leavanny, generally get your webs up, then you die.
Yep.
It's literally all they got to put on teams for. Galvantula will get some hits off because it's not actually that frail and it hits kind of hard. But that's how important sticky webs can be to a team, that you're willing to basically take 5 Pokemon into a battle plus something to die to get up sticky webs.
Yeah.
That's how important that is.
And like Vsing said, that can really kind of just turn the tide of battle for you, because like you lower the speed of every single mon on your opponent's team, and you have your one end game sweeper that's a Choice Scarf or Choice, like Fast Choice Bander. Bop. It's game.
Yeah, pretty much. But there, like, I'm trying to think of more sticky webbers, and I legitimately can't. I think it's just these 6.
Like these 6 are like some of the main ones. Let's look at
obviously there's Smeargle. That's obviously.
Oh yeah.
Like Smeargle's
Smeargle's
disgusting.
not bad. Let's see. Looking down here, I think actually that's it. Like I'm scrolling, but there's not anymore. Bulb. Yeah, that's right.
Like Galvantula's not there.
Galvantula's right here.
No, in the list thing.
Oh. Interesting.
That's weird. But yeah, like that's literally your sticky webbers, all 6 that we had there.
Yeah.
Plus Smeargle, unless something else gets it.
No, I didn't see anything on there. Like unless you want to run like PU mods.
We do want to run PU mods.
Yo, all right, run that spinner rack.
No, Ariados is PU.
True. I mean,
but yeah.
LC. Either way.
LC.
Right.
But yeah, that's the 4 farms hazards, and as Ace was getting to earlier, he's gonna go over
Mons that are able to get rid of hazards. So would you like to go defog or would you like to go rapid spin respectively?
Let's go defog.
Alright, so defog first. Okay, so with defog, it's mostly a lot of flying mons if you're looking at it specifically. Most of the mons that really get it. Defog is really good because you're able to defog away hazards. You're not able to defog away Leech Seed. That's just a random note that I thought was interesting. Mons like Golbat are pretty good doing this. Let's see.
Yo, Shiftry though.
Yo, true. That's actually a really good one. Mandibuzz, Shiftry. Who else? Yes, one.
Scarm.
Oh yes, true. Bringing back Skarmory with hazards as well.
This is like, in my opinion, Skarmory is like the best hazard control one.
Yeah.
Not just because it gets them, but it gets rid of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see.
Fortress too. It spins.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Well, we're doing.
No, I mean, like as far as like Skarmory being the best hazard control one. Defog.
Now, defog is really, really good. Oh, there's one right there, and then Crobat. Okay.
Crobat and Golbat. Nice.
Yeah. Well, they serve different purposes. They're like
that's true. No, that is
legitimately
true.
in league format. Like you could ride both like on the same team and still like be fine. But realistically, like looking across these things, the problem with defog is most of the mons that get defog are flying mons apart from here, like Shiftry. So you're going to be taking, like if you're coming in on Stealth Rocks, you're going to have to worry about taking the Stealth Rock damage, which is problematic. But the advantage to it is if your opponent's setting up spikes, you're immune to that as well. If you're a flying mon, because you're flying above them and they don't touch your feet apparently because you're just like floating above them, I guess. But like opposite with Shiftry, like he's touching the ground, but he does resist the Stealth Rock, so like it's kind of a give and take. But usually the problem with this here is that you do have to take the damage of the Stealth Rock damage, which is super effective on when you're typing. But Skarmory is like kind of the exception because it's like the steel typing. That's why Vsing says it's like the overall great mon. But defog is just generally great, and it also has like an added effect that most people don't really mind in league format in reducing evasion. So like almost guaranteed toxic, Will-O-Wisp are more accurate if you have that on a mon that you have, if that mon stays in with the extra accuracy.
A perfect example of that being effective is Latios.
Oh yeah.
You come in, you defog, then you basically get a guaranteed Draco off the next turn.
Yeah.
So it works out nice, and that's another mon that's not a flying type, so it's not like going to get wrecked by rocks. So the Latis, stuff like that. Deoxys though.
Yeah, well, I just keep looking at them.
Yeah. One point you should note about defog is that it not only gets rid of the hazards on your side, but also hazards you've set up on their side.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's the risk you pay, I guess. That's the price you pay sometimes.
And you have to be careful with that, as well as like mons like Defiant and Contrary.
Yeah, that's true actually. Defiant's the one where if you get hit by a dark type move.
No, it's not dark type move.
It's not a dark type move?
No, it's when you get hit by a move that changes one of your stats, it increases your attack. So that's specifically Bisharp. Most of the time, like if you have a Bisharp against you on the opponent's team, and like it's a default situation, they might predict that and swap in and get the plus 1.5.
Yeah, predominantly Bisharp, and I think Empoleon too.
Yeah, Empoleon's the other one as well. But Empoleon, that's like earlier gens. But I mean, like people like might actually run that just because league format, like you're trying to get your opponent off. So that's something you also have to kind of watch out for. Now, moving on, like we have our defoggers here. Extremely great way to get rid of hazards. But in my opinion, I prefer Rapid Spin, which is going to be our next one. I prefer having a Rapid Spinner specifically because you have these situations where you like Stealth Rocks is one of the most common hazards because a lot of mons get it. So I think that Rapid Spin works extremely well for this because you can have a lot of mons that are more bulky that get the Rapid Spin off and are able to kind of just put you in a good situation because they can get rid of any type of hazards and Leech Seed as well. So that kind of puts you in a good situation. I can't spell right now for
Are you trying to find Starmie?
Yeah, I just kept spelling star incorrectly.
I'm kind of sad that you haven't typed in Excadrill yet.
I'm getting there, alright. I'm getting there.
I mean, that's like the best one in my opinion.
The best Rapid Spinner?
Yeah.
But Blastoise is right there.
But Excadrill's right there. I'd say Excadrill and Starmie are better than Blastoise.
Feels. What about this one?
You don't know, you want a really good Rapid Spinner that people don't think of? Hitmonlee.
Why Hitmonlee? Why not Hitmontop?
Hitmonlee because you can run normal gem.
That's true, and then you get the Unburden boost.
Yeah. That's just like a random aside, like just a specific situation. Yeah. But like again, Rapid Spin is one of those moves where Pokemon you might not expect get it. Mm-hmm. Like Hitmonlee. There's one in my head, but I can't think of what it is. Spinda, yeah.
Yo, Spinda?
Yeah.
Spinda. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the same as Ace. I prefer Rapid Spin for the reason of I want to keep any hazards I set up.
Yeah. That and like I said, with the type disadvantage, not a lot of flying mons get I don't think any flying mons actually get Rapid Spin that I can think of in my head.
A flying type mon that gets Rapid Spin?
Yeah.
Not that I can think of, but yeah. I'm sure there probably is.
Maybe. I don't know. But like most of the mons that you run, like these are some of the main ones. But there's plenty of a plethora of more mons that actually get Rapid Spin. But these are some of like the main ones there. Like you're able to keep your hazards up on your opponent's side of the field, and you're able to like with stealth. I feel like Stealth Rocks is the most common kind of hazard, and then maybe Spikes and Toxic Spikes after that, and then maybe the Webs a little bit after that, just because it's like kind of team specific. Especially in league format, but I think that Rapid Spin is the superior way to get rid of hazards. But I mean, Defog is just as good. But like running this across, like we said, you know, there's slower, bulkier mons, faster, a little bit less bulky mons, and then there's kind of like the in between where they're decently fast but like kind of hit hard at the same time.
Yeah, sorry, I actually looked up if there is any flying types that learn Rapid Spin, and there is.
Which one?
Delibird.
I did forget about Delibird. Does it get Defog and Rapid Spin?
It might do. I mean, you're on Showdown. Why don't you look it up?
Alright, I was just asking because like you had already said that you had looked.
No, I'm cranky because it's 6 a.m. Okay.
My apologies.
No, it's fine. But yeah, Rapid Spin. Yeah, it does. It's kind of god.
Delibird the god.
There you go, best hazard
Even though
control
it's
mon right
quad
there.
weak to stealth rocks.
Stealth rock, yeah, it's gonna get destroyed by
And it
stealth
has
rock.
like base like 45 stats. Bruh.
Ace is gonna go over for you when the best time is to try and get rid of hazards.
Okay, so there's a couple different situations when your opponent has out mons that are specifically, like when you look at your opponent's team and you see mons that are specifically dedicated to setting up hazards, you kind of want to understand how much pressure that puts on your team, and kind of assess when your opponent is likely to set those up. So a lot of the time for me specifically, I think, okay, my opponent's mon that sets up hazards can come in against this mon specifically. So I might want to make an aggressive double to kind of preemptively bring in my spinner or my defogger to prevent them from being able to get up those hazards without being able to get punished for it. So if they bring, like, they have a Chansey over there that I see is like probably going to set up stealth rocks, and I have a Hitmonlee on my team, I see that that mon's going to be coming in, and I see that they might want to set up stealth rocks, so I preemptively swap in this when they're going to swap in their Chansey there, and if they stealth rock up, I can rapid spin that away after, but I put that pressure on them that I can high jump kick as well. Or if your opponent kind of has to get rid of mons to set up those hazards and puts themselves in a position where one of your mons can sweep if those hazards are gone, you might want to just send in your defogger against the matchup where you can get off freely the defog. You don't want to send in your mon to just solely rapid spin and get blown away before it gets a chance to, because we do have those slower mons here as well. You want to kind of send it in for a good situation where you know you can take a hit and kind of spin those away, and that might be the same thing where you counter swap as well, where you know that your mon can take a hit from whatever mon they brought in, and you can spin away those hazards as well, or defog respectively.
One point I will make is that if you see a ghost type on the opposing team, don't be so quick to click rapid spin, because sometimes people forget that it's a normal type moves and ghost types are immune. And ghost types are basically referred to as spin blockers for that reason.
Yeah. If you do see like a Gengar or a Frostlass, things like that, those mons specifically are pretty good, like species in that situation where you can swap them in. So sometimes it may be better to make a kind of more offensive approach there, and that's why like on spinning mons, a lot of the time you don't just run like solely rapid spin and then like other moves that kind of like work with that. You bring like offensive moves specifically for situations like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's going to be our episode on hazard control. And thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with people that you feel that would be benefit from seeing this. We really want to like help people learn about the metagame in League format and help people get better. So like make sure to share it with everybody, and we appreciate it. Make sure to check out our links down in the description below. Vsing's Twitter, the CCL Twitter, all of that you guys can watch and kind of see us implement these tactics yourself. The past episodes that we worked on, those are going to be down in the playlist. So make sure to check that out. Anything to say before we go, Hubba?
I mean, I want a partridge now after I said it earlier.
All right, well, we'll
some
go,
partridge breast.
We'll work out with that right after this video.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for watching, like I said. And that's going to be it. Bye-bye.
See you guys later.